bullish candle, then another gap up, then another indecision candle for the day. So it shows us for today that the stock opened close to the ceiling at 3.37. Please remember, you can reference the previous videos, that the ceiling is 50% higher than the previous price. And it's a safety measure by the PSE to protect investors so that they don't succumb to hype. They don't succumb also to a lot of the emotion. So it's a protection. It's a mechanism to protect investors. That's why it's placed there. Okay, guys, happy Wednesday. It's the third trading day of the week, and it's the third day that MerryMart is on the market. And I've got I received so many messages about MerryMart. I got a lot of questions from people who are investing, and I got a lot of questions also from people who opened an account just so they can follow the price action. And if you don't know anything about the company yet, and you are just trying to follow the price action, please spend the time also to study and do your research. I'll put the playlist below the previous videos because at the end of the day, it's you having the right knowledge that will help you when coming into the stock. And I'm going to talk more about that later. But as you can see here, we have MerryMart up 237%, which has made people excited. And above and beyond that, nanghinayang yung mga nagbenta earlier. If you remember what I said at the start, one of the biggest mistakes of a lot of people, even for myself, is it's not about cutting losses. It's about selling too early for stocks that are moving up because of the fear that it might go down. But there are certain times also when you see stocks that are really good, really fast, and as they start to push up, as they start to go up, we tend to be emotional and we sell. And we're going to talk more about that in this vlog. So I hope you guys are ready. I hope you guys are excited. We are on this third day, and a lot of you also from the previous video mentioned that you want me to continue to make this a series until we see all of the talk about it start to dissipate. So if you want more of this, comment MerryMart. I want MerryMart, and we're just gonna give you more updates on this IPO. By the way, my name is Marvin Kermo. I'm a stock market trader and investor, and I've been investing in the markets for more than 10 years now, more than a decade now. And I just create daily videos because I want to share my thoughts, my ideas to all of you, that I hope that this gives valuable content so that you can trade the markets with confidence, so that you don't have to rely on hype, speculation, you don't have to guess, you don't have to somehow just try to roll the dice and hope that things will go well. Because at the end of the day, hope is good, but it's not a strategy. You do not buy a stock just for the hope that you believe it will go up. You buy a stock knowing what you're getting into. So if you want more of content like this, subscribe, smash the bell so you get updated every time I come up with new content about the stock market and investing. And if you get a lot from this video, appreciate it if you could press the thumbs up button so the YouTube algorithm shows this to more and more people. Now, let's begin with the slides. So MerryMart is up 237%. And what you can expect in today's podcast are these 5 topics. We're going to talk about the technicals. Just a word of caution, especially to majority of you that are either getting a lot of money right now, or in the same way, you have cash and you just want to join in to the action. So that's the second part of this discussion in the podcast. Number 3, we're going to talk about valuations, because if you watch the previous videos that I mentioned, the PE ratio of MerryMart is relatively in the higher range, given that the current income that it has and the number of stores that it has out as well. Then, as you all know, when you see prices go up, valuations also would go up as well, meaning it tends to be more expensive. Number 4, since all of this price movement is happening, has anything changed in its fundamentals? That's why all of this is going on. Then number 5, we're going to talk about the price action. So I hope you guys enjoy this, and I hope you guys get a lot from this throughout this entire podcast. So let's take it one by one. So here's the price action, or here's the technicals. I've been referencing Double Dragon and KPPI because over the past few years, KPPI was last year, Double Dragon was 2014, so that you have a template of some stocks that have moved and has hit ceiling prices. So for Double Dragon, as what I've mentioned in the previous videos, first day ceiling, second day went to as high as 4.5, then started to drop. Then third day, it already started to consolidate, and then the consolidation the next few days happened. For KPPI, this is how it looks like. First, second, and third day, all ceiling. Then fourth day, boom, large, massive move up. Then it started to hit a high, then started to retrace, and it closed lower already than the opening. For this is how it looks like. So as you recall, the first two videos that I posted when it went into an IPO, you had an indecision candle, then a gap up, then a large bullish candle, then another gap up, then another indecision candle for the day. So it shows us for today that the stock opened close to the ceiling at 3.37. Please remember, you can reference the previous videos, that the ceiling is 50% higher than the previous price. And it's a safety measure by the PSE to protect investors so that they don't succumb to hype. They don't succumb also to a lot of the emotion. So it's a protection. It's a mechanism to protect investors. That's why it's placed there. And in the same way, you have the floor rate to protect people on the downside. Anyways, from the push up yesterday, large gap up, hit 3.37. Then intraday, as similar to the IPO date, there were some selling that happened. There were people who took profits. Then it started to dip, similar. And I showed you a more comprehensive version of that on the first 2 days. For this video, I'm not going to show that anymore. But it started to dip. As it started to dip again after people took profits, a similar thing happened. No, that the buyers overwhelmed the sellers. And I'll show you later on how big of a portion that people started to bid higher to cause the stock to maintain its closing at the 3.37 level. So we have 3 straight days of large, massive buy-ups. So that's where we are in terms of the technicals. It's still harder from this point of time. No, there's still no trend being formed. You can't really plot in moving averages yet. No 20, no 50, no 100, no 200-day moving average, because we're still at the third day. You still can't also plot a range because there really isn't a range yet. All you're seeing is just price candlestick movements. You don't have a specific area where it's hitting an area of resistance and support. You don't have that. You also don't have a trend yet. And I've been saying this all the time. And for those who read my books or attended the seminars, that it's pretty much all about past prices. So if there's not much past prices, technicals can only give you bits and pieces, but it's not as strong as compared to other stocks that have been there or have been in the market for a longer period of time. So that's where we are from a technical analysis standpoint. And that's why I've been saying it also, that it's pretty much just price action, looking at buyers and sellers, looking at how strong the volume is, looking at how strong the participation is. And I just want to note this. You can see it very clear from the charts here that volume from day one to where we are now has started to drop a bit. And it's some signs also that people who bought prior to the IPO, during the listing date, a chunk of them have sold, but there's a chunk that have bought that are not selling anymore, that they're just holding. And as volume starts to wane, it may cause you also to think, that the movements become not as reliable when volume starts to get thinner, because there's just a few shares that's moving around. And I just want to put that out there. If you are looking for a sign that there's a possible reversal, watch volume, because that's all we have right now, the candlesticks and the volume. Anyways, let's continue. I mentioned on top of this that, just a word of caution also, I'm just gonna run through this because I've mentioned this already on the previous video, but I still got a lot of questions from a lot of people that want to come in, want to buy. And I'll just say this: if you're new and you don't have any experience yet in the market, or even if you have experience, this applies to everyone, even to me. Do not chase stock prices just for the sake of chasing them. Do not buy just because your friend bought and your friend is making money. And again, do not sell out of emotion, and you have to stick to your plan. That's one of the most important things that I'd like to point out in all of this, that if you follow all of this four, I really believe that this will protect you from a lot of losses. This will help you maximize your gains. That's why I've been hammering it in all of the seminars and all of the books that I've written, that it's very, very important that you have, it's not about the stock that you're buying, but it's about the parameters on why you are buying the stock. It's all about the reason, the logic, the mentality of what's causing you to buy it. And in the same way, on the flip side, what are the conditions that will cause you to sell it, either taking profits or cutting losses. So please remember that. And to those who sent messages that are very, very new and saw friends make money off of this, it's, of course, it's very enticing to see markets move up fast. But you also have to remember that you don't just look at upsides like this. It's not just about upsides like that, getting 237%. It's not just that. You have to realize that if it could go up like that, then it could also go down as fast. People always look at the upside. People always look at how fast it could go, but they're not looking at the downside. So for people who are coming in just now, please remember, it's already up 237%, no support yet. There's a big chance that if it reverses, similar to what I showed you for KPPI, it may. I'm not saying it's going to crash down tomorrow. I'm not saying that it's going to go down tomorrow. No one has a crystal ball on how it will go. No one can guess how it will go. But what I do know is there will come a point in time where those who entered before the IPO, those who came in at 1.5, those who came in at 2.25, there will be a portion of them who will want to make money and liquidate their positions. And when they start selling, it's going to drop. It's not a question whether it will drop. It's a question only of when. And please do note also that when that starts to happen and the price starts to drop also, there will be people who bought higher that will also want to sell because of the panic. And when that happens, you see stocks go down. So please just be careful. It's very, very important that you don't just look at the gains. You look at the possible downside also. That has to be very, very important when you make the trade. That you don't just look at the upside. You also look at the downside. You don't just look at the reward. You also look at the risks that are attached to it. Now, number 3. Hope you're learning. Hope you are, because sayang naman if this is not something that's helping you. And the reason why we try to do this because we want to educate people as much as we can. And since YouTube, I really believe, is a good tool. It's a good mechanism for people to learn. It's a good tool. It's a good mechanism for people to be able to get content wherever you are in the world. And I love this because I don't get to do or go to other areas. And since we're also in lockdown, I think this is a very, very practical way for people to learn and get as much as they can. Now, let's talk about valuation. So for those who are new and don't know what valuations means, you have to remember that when you buy a stock, it's not about the price that you're buying them. It's not just about that. It's not just about the company, but it's also about the price that you're buying them. And that's one of the most important things, because no matter how good the company is, if it's expensive, then you are buying a good company at a very, very steep premium. And for those who watched the previous videos, I showed this. You can rewatch. It's in the playlist below. You can rewatch my video where I talked about the valuations of MerryMart. But this is what I showed in that video, that at the 1 peso IPO price, given the EPS of 0.0046, by the way, mas mahaba pa yan. No? I just placed this. But if you compute that, kasi it's gonna come out 217, but it should be 216 because there's a longer decimal point there. It gives you a PE ratio of 216 times. So for those who read my books and I don't know, for all the TV interviews that I had or whatever, you would note that I would say that at this point, at 216 already, it's expensive. And I mentioned there that for those who bought the MerryMart stock, they're buying. I don't think they're buying it because they think it's cheap. They're buying it for the promise of growth. They're buying it for the promise that they can deliver on all of their projects. And they're buying it because it's Injap. That's the Injap premium, that you're buying the skill set, the brand of Injap, of what he can do in the company. And me and Rex Mendoza did a video yesterday, and we were talking about you can peg him similar to why people buy Tesla, because Tesla is pretty much attached to Elon Musk. Anyone can create their own groceries, anyone can start their own grocery store, but there's only one in Japsia. And I think that's the context of this particular premium. So please do remember that, is it possible for stocks that are expensive to go higher? We're seeing it right now, and it has also happened in the past. There's so many stocks in the past that their premium, their P ratios, their valuations were so expensive, but they also went up. Please remember that the daily movements of the market are not pretty much dictated by just valuations alone. They're also dictated by what people perceive. So if people, and Warren Buffett said it well, no, the stock, I'm not even sure if it's Warren Buffett, but the stock market is a temperature check of people's perceptions, that if they're so bullish about it, even if the value, it's far from the fundamentals or valuations, but they just want to buy it, then you see stocks start to go up. And that's the main context of what we're seeing here. So when people are saying na, mahal yan na, bakit umakyat? Sobrang mahal na yan. But at the end of the day, that's how it is. Eh. You have to realize that prices and valuations all go hand in hand over the long term. That for the short term, it's supply and demand. For the short term, it's price action. But it will always correct close to where its value is. Now, for those who know the formula of PE ratios, as the price starts to go up, the PE ratio also will go up. So at 3.37 pesos, assuming EPS is still the same, the PE of MerryMart as of 3.37 is 732 times. I repeat, the PE of MerryMart at 3.37 pesos, assuming the same EPS, is at 732 times. Meaning, a lot of people, especially the long-term investors that bought it, have an expectation that their earnings will exponentially go up over the next 1, 2, or 3 years to compensate the premium that they're buying it for, or especially for people who bought it at 1, 1.5, to compensate for the premium of when they bought it. Because please remember that if the company starts to earn massively, then the EPS starts to go up. If the EPS starts to go up, the PE starts to go down. So there's a big expectation that they can fulfill their promise, that when they buy it at this price, it will somehow follow that as they start to earn more, the PE will get better. But just so you know, and just so expectations get managed, at the very start, at 1 peso, the PE was already at a premium. Today, it's even more at a premium. And comparing some other brands, no, that are in almost the same space, of course, they have different models, no, that MerryMart overlaps with. And Robinson's Retail and Metro Gaisano have department stores. MerryMart does not have that. Pure Gold, at the end of the day, is its closest competitor. But I want you to see this. This is the PE ratio to 216x. But please do note, I mentioned here that it's 732. So closest competitor, Pure Gold, 19 times. MerryMart 732x. I repeat. IPO price 216 after it hit 732. So if you look at all of the other brands close to it, it's quite a bit far. It's quite a bit expensive. So just to clarify, what you're seeing here, the 216x is at the 1 peso price range, but this is already its PE ratio as of today. But even though you just base it from 1 peso, it's already almost 3 times 7-Elevens. It's already way far from Metro. It's 10 times from Robinson's Retail, and it's 11 or 12 times from Pure Gold. But if you peg it from 732, then it shows that it's even more expensive than these companies that have been in the market for quite some time already. So this just shows how expensive MerryMart is in terms of the price that people are buying it. This is how if I'll put this as a narrative, that you are buying it at a more expensive price, comparing it to others that have been more established. Now, this is the market cap already of the companies in in the market, no, comparing them side by side. Pure Gold, hundreds of stores, has 130 billion market cap. Robinsons Retail, 106 billion. Metro Gaisano, 5.25 billion. 7-Eleven, 97.5 billion. And MerryMart, 25.58 billion. I just want to submit this. Market cap basically is all of the shares sold at the specific stock price. So this is the market cap as of today. Uh, MerryMart, as of their IPO, has 7 stores. So basically, you are paying for 25.58 billion pesos right now. The whole enterprise, the whole company, is now at 25.58 billion for 7 stores. So I just want that. I just want you guys to know that. So the question that people are asking, why is their price movement? Has anything changed? Is there anything that has changed? In my opinion, nothing has changed. Whatever they said, the 7 stores that's there, that's where they are also right now. The reason why I'm saying that is from the day they went into IPO Monday to where we are now, nothing has changed in the company. It's just that price, more buyers, has pushed people to buy it at a higher price. So I just want you guys, especially for people who are trying to analyze this, that it's a bit expensive, but I don't know how long this will run, because as long as people are buying, there's an expectation that it will go up. However, I just want to note this, and I shared this at the start, that volumes have already started to decrease, volumes have already started to go down, and as they've started to go down, that could be also an indicator that at least you should watch out for. So I just wanted to point out here that the PE is higher, it's more expensive compared to the other brands, and market cap wise, no, at 25.58 billion, nothing has changed from what they showed in the prospectus, from the number of stores that they have. It's still the same MerryMart. It's just that people are willing to buy it. And I just want to note this, that majority of the people who are buying it, it's just now based on price action. It's just now under the context that uh, they're hoping that someone will buy it to them at a higher price. And it's, in my experience, it's the one that buys last, and it's most of the time people who are new that get burned. That's why I said at the start that if you're very, very new into this, please do not chase stock prices. Please do not buy just because your friend would bought it, and please stick to your plan, because it's very, very important. It's not the most sexy advice. It's not the most uh, it's not the advice that people want to hear, because people always want to get rich quick. But what I really believe is you have to always not just look at the reward, but you also have to look at the risks that are involved in it. Now, in terms of price action, I want to zero in on this. This is the price action for the past 3 days. The left side is first day, IPO day, when it hit 1.5. Second day is 2.25. Third day is 3.37. Um, as you can see, still, this is still pretty much a local driven market, and not just a local driven market or not local driven stock. It's majority retailers that are coming into this. As you can see here, foreign buys for today is only 13 billion, a million. Foreign sales is 4 million. Foreigners have a net buying at 9 million. But in terms of local buying, majority of the trades are locals. Local buying is 300 million, 308 million. Local selling is 370 million. It's been consistent from day 1, 2, and 3 that this is pretty much a local retail play. And I'll submit this even further, since it's a small IPO. The thing with small IPOs is you won't really see large funds come into it, because it will be harder for them to get out if the number of shares that they buy is too much, or they might run up the stock and they're buying it at a higher price. So again, I'll reiterate it: day 1, day 2, day 3 locals, day 1, day 2, day 3 retailers. And this is further information to show you that one fourth of the buying today, called financial, local. FMS, 12.61% local. Tower 7.11, Local BPI 6.6, Timson 5.32, PNB 4.83, BDO Nomura 4.39, Unicapital 4.27. All locals. And if you notice it, the majority of them have online brokerages, which is pretty much dominated not by institutions but by locals. PNB selling 4.45. Buying of PLDT today is 4.83. I just want you guys to take note of that. Call, local selling, Abacus, Papa, Unicap, well, mostly local retailers or brokers. So again, just to summarize price action, it's still a locals game. It's still local retailers. And before I put this to a close, no, this is happening with the market up slightly today. Please remember, 2 days ago it was massively down. Yesterday it rebounded for a bit. Then today it's slightly up, just slightly. So it's basically MerryMart that's providing excitement for a lot of people, and it's also providing gains. For those who are making money, and for those who were able to buy earlier, it's nice. It's nice really to see more and more retailers make money in this type of market. Um, but for those who are just planning to come in and are just buying just because other people have started to make money off of it, I do hope that you, if there's one thing that I'll repeat over and over in this slide, is this and this. I'll repeat it so that you see it. This and this. Please do not chase stock prices just for the sake of chasing it, and do not just buy just because your friend bought. It's a very very good word of caution for all of you. I hope you guys are learning. I hope this is something that's adding valuable content to you. And this is a very long podcast, but I just really want to educate you as much as possible in line with all of this so that you have the right information, so that you know what you're doing. And there, that's it for now. If you have any questions, put them in the comment section, and then I'll try to make more videos off of that. For those who want to know more about the stock market, I have 5 books below. You can click them. They're via Shopee, and they'll be sent wherever you are, where Shopee has coverage. I have online courses with Chinkitan. It's a Tagalog course called Stock Market for Everyone. It's in the link below. Then another online course with Sean Si. It's called Make Money, Grow Money. It's an English course. Link is in the description also for those who want to enroll in it. For those who are asking my gear equipment, links are down below. For those who want to support me and requested for Patreon, I also have a Patreon link. And then all of the things that you're asking, what VPN, what virus scanner I use for, because I do a lot of stuff online, they're in the description below. And that's it. I hope you guys got a lot, and if this added value to you, appreciate it. If you press a thumbs up, like it, share it, send it to more Filipinos. If you have someone who's coming into this just because they saw people make money, I hope you can share this video, and you can share the entire playlist also for this MerryMart IPO, so they have enough information for them to be able to decide properly. Because at the end of the day, it's information that will allow you to make the right decisions, and those decisions should be aligned with the risks that you're willing to take, with the money that you're trying to put, and the upside that you want to have. But never ever ever buy something because someone in YouTube like me just said it. You have to take the time, you have to do your due diligence for you to be able to know what you're getting into, because that's so important. It's so important that you know what you're getting into. It's so important that you take responsibility for your money. It's so easy to ask a friend what to buy, because it's like you saying, paano ba ako yayaman na hindi ko kailangan magtrabaho? And that doesn't happen. I'll say this over and over. Wealth does not happen overnight. To get wealth, to make money, to earn, it's something that you work hard for. It's something where you have to love the process of doing it every day. And I'm sure you've heard this from me over and over, but it's really, and that's why I've been saying it over and over, because if there's, don't just get the stock strategies, get the principles in money, because I really believe that it's those principles and the mindset that will help you. And I hope you guys got a lot from this. I hope this is something that uh, we're already in our third day just talking about MerryMart. But there's another video also that will come out today, so don't worry. It's not just about, it's not just gonna be all MerryMart, but I just want to give you as much information and content as possible. So that's it for now. This is Marvin Germo, uh, pushing you to study and spend the time to build your skills, because it's your skills that will help you make money over the long term. So that's it for now. We're closing 30 minutes. If you stay till the end, I want to know. Comment, I stayed till the end. And I hope this video helps you trade well, trade strong, trade smart. See you all again soon, guys, and God bless you all.